About 45 minutes ago, officers were at the scene here trying to negotiate with somebody who we believe that had mental issues. We had an FBI-trained negotiator from the department speaking with him for about 30 minutes. He was holding a knife to his throat. He was asking that we kill him, which we would not do. We, at one point, deployed less than lethal weapons. We fired approximately 15 of those. They consisted of 12-gauge beanbag shotgun rounds, which were about 10 to 12. And we also hit him with 40-millimeter balls, which are large baseballs that come out. He did go down. I'm told that he got back up. He charged at the officers with the knife in his hand. And 3 officers used their handguns and shot the person here. He's been taken to a local hospital. I do not know his condition at this time, but we'll follow it up as soon as we get more information on that.
What did you know going into this? What did you have a sense of what you were dealing with?
Well, you know, we deal with a lot of these incidents, a lot of these incidents where we want to use the least amount of force we can in these situations. Clearly the person, we have him on tape, he was screaming a lot of obscenities. He was upset. He obviously had some illness. He wanted us to kill him, and he was talking a lot of different political things. So we negotiated as best we could, but as you can see behind me, we're in a shopping center. We couldn't let him get out into the public, and at one point he just quit negotiating with us. The officers, as I say, deployed the less than lethal, but that sometimes doesn't always work, and it's a sad case. I'm upset about it, but at the same time, you know, I'm concerned about our officers who were here, people who had to witness this. It's a clear use of force, but I believe at this point we did everything we could to use less than lethal, and unfortunately it didn't work in this case. So I'm just hoping that the person survives, but the officers have a duty to protect themselves. They had to be close to him to negotiate. We were bringing the Bearcat in so we could get closer to him and negotiate there. But as I stated, at one point, he just refused to negotiate with us and was asking us to shoot him.
There were people in the parking lot watching it, screaming, and
Sure.
then calling you murderers and
Right.
killers. And why couldn't you just take them down some other way?
Okay, the officers are not murderers in this case. Okay, and there's always going to be people out here that are going to be yelling about this. All right, and we understand that. But at one point, the officers, the 3 of them, felt the need to use their duty weapons. All right, so we negotiated for over 30 minutes. We tried to do the best we can, and we'll put more out on this as soon as we interview our officers. The district attorney's office will be here. The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department will be here. This is the 3rd officer-involved shooting we've had in 4 years. 2 were domestic, and now this one here.
What do you say to the people who are upset over there?
I'm understanding that they're upset, but they don't know everything. All the rounds that they heard, the vast majority of those were less than lethal weapons. They kept screaming we were shooting him with a rifle. We were shooting him with beanbag shotgun rounds. We were shooting him with less than lethal 40-millimeter rounds. And after he went down, he got back up and charged the officers with the knife. All right. At that point, I don't believe they had any more less than lethal rounds with them. I think they fired somewhere between 12 and 20.
Of less than lethal?
Of less than lethal.
Do you know how many?
I'm told there was at least 12 gauge beanbag rounds, and that there were at least 4 to 5 of the 40-millimeter. And 40 millimeter is about the size of a tennis ball. It would knock them down. If he got back up after that, then clearly we had somebody who was intent on harming either himself or our officers.
What was your familiarity with him in the past? Had he had similar incidents? Or
We knew his name. We were speaking to him, his name. We were talking to him. I'm not going to release his name right now because we want to obviously notify any next of kin. We don't know his condition. But this is one of these situations that we have, and it happens all across the United States, that we have people who are mentally ill, wanting to take their own life, and then they involve the police, and we try to resolve it as best we can. And this one didn't turn out the way I'd like. Clearly, it didn't. But I think at this point we've done everything we can to use less than lethal force. But at some point, the officers felt compelled to use deadly force.
Will the officers be on standard administrative leave?
Yeah, what we do in this case is all the officers are going to be required to be on administrative leave for a period of at least 5 days. And they will also be asked to go to psychological counseling. Nobody gets up and comes to work in the morning hoping they get involved in a shooting. Nobody wants it. So I'm just going to let the facts play out first before we start pointing any fingers. And I'm going to have a whole review. Hopefully we got more video of this. We did have recordings ourselves. The officers were recording. So, and hopefully our patrol cars had our in-car video on. So we're going to be as transparent as we can in this situation, and we'll let the facts fall where they are.
With all this stuff going on around the country, this must,
Sure.
It's like now it's in your own backyard.
Well, yeah, that is true. But like I say, we've got a very good police force in Santa Maria, and I can't tell you how many times we have used less than lethal, because a lot of times it just doesn't make the news. We used one the other day where a person was hell-bent on hurting us, and we were successful in using less than lethal in that case. So I don't know what type of, if this person was on any medication, we don't know. But it doesn't take a street cop to see a lot of people out here who have issues. And I think the general public sees that a lot.
Was he a transient or?
I don't know at this point if he was a transient.
Do you know how old he was roughly?
I do not know his age at this point.
When the original call came in, was he standing in front of that sign with a knife, or how did it come in?
I was just told he was standing out in the street and he was screaming, and he was holding the knife to his throat. So
you'll have more updates later?
Hopefully we'll have more updates a little this afternoon. Like I say, we'll have the Sheriff's Department, the District Attorney's Office, and other entities that will assist in the investigation. As you know, we use a third party, and the officers have been already taken away from the scene. They're all separated. They have their right to counsel, but at the same time, we're going to allow the Sheriff's Department and the DA's office to do their job.
Any idea, are his injuries life-threatening or?
I do not have an update on his medical that's at this point. I just know that the weapons the officers used at the end were handguns. I don't believe they used any rifles.
And do you know how many approximately? We've heard anywhere from 8 to 10 shots.
I don't know the number of rounds yet.
And so you don't know, because there's reports that he died. You can't confirm that.
I haven't confirmed that yet.
And to the angry people out of the crowd, What do you want to say to them?
Well, channel your anger. We've got a job to do here. We've got the District Attorney's Office that's going to be here. We've got the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Department. They have professional officer-involved shooting teams. Our detectives are also here. So let's just let the facts play out. Let's see exactly what happens here. Let's not rush to judgment. All right. We got a great community. We got a great police department. These things are very, very rare. We handled 104,000 calls this year, and this is our first officer-involved shooting. So let's just step back and take a breath and analyze the entire situation.